Bob, we need you. The talent wants to leave. Hi everyone and welcome back to the channel. In today's video I'm going to be doing a spring styling session in our garden here. I've got some beautiful new cushions and accessories, and I'm also going to be sharing with you how I do some spring floral arrangements. And we have our brand new dining table arriving today, very excitingly, in the next hour. So I can't wait to dress that to show you how I'll be dressing it for Easter. I hope you enjoy the video, and we hopefully are going to have Pip join us, but he's looking at squirrels and currently wants to run off, so I'm going to cut that there. I just want to take a moment to say thank you to this video sponsor, Floral Sweden. I've loved their products for years. I've used the UFO 3 for 2 years now. So when I got the FAQ 202, I was really excited to try it. It's a silicone LED mask, so it's very lightweight and wireless. And you can see where it's flexible, it can mold to fit any face shape. It has 8 different wavelengths, including NIR, to tackle signs of aging and other skin concerns. Since using it, I've noticed that my skin looks a lot brighter and my skin tone's a lot more even with less sunspots. My wrinkles and pores are also a lot less noticeable, which I'm really happy about. I love the fact that I can just carry on doing all my jobs around the house whilst wearing this mask, because I do love to do skincare, but I just don't have time to do treatments. So it's perfect for me. And that is my treatment finished. My kids are so used to seeing me wear things around the house, and I've managed to do some styling. If you'd like to check out the FAQ 202 by Floral Sweden and other bestsellers like UFO 3, which I love, click the link in the description box and use my coupon code to get 30% off all of Floral products, even those that are already discounted. Don't miss out on this opportunity. These products are already discounted and I absolutely love them. So this is a very exciting day to be filming because our new table is literally just arriving. How gorgeous are these bases? I really love this chamfered detail. See how it angles down? We spent ages designing these because you've got to be so careful with the width of your base. My pet hate is when you don't think about the relationship between the chair legs, the people who are sat there with their legs, and the base so people can't sit in comfortably. But then you also have to balance that where this is going to be a very big tabletop to make sure that it's stable. So I absolutely love this. And how nice is the finish with the antique and also our custom chairs that we've got. I think it just all works together so nicely. So I'm really excited to see the tabletop as well, because again, that was something that I spent ages thinking about the shape. I don't like to do a complete oval, but I really wanted to have some sort of curves and softness to the table. The old one I felt was just really too angular, too linear, didn't work with the antique or the chandelier or the wallpaper, whereas this one's got some really soft curves. But I think it's going to look really nice when laid up, so I'm going to dress the table today as well. Partly to show you guys, but also because I can't wait and I just really want to see it all dressed. I'm genuinely really excited. This is a very exciting day. This is better than Christmas for me. I'm not into presents. I just want furniture for my home. And the dining room did look nice and it was amazing that we got it done for Christmas. But for me, I always focus in interiors on what's missing. So that's my job. I've trained my eye to always notice how you can improve it. So I just mostly looked at the table. But
so
already,
after the table, you'll find something else?
Oh, after the table, we've still got to do the Roman blinds because these are our old ones that are too narrow. And obviously you can see the mechanism on the side because these were designed to originally go in the window recess, but I've moved them above to get more light. So there's that. There's a little bit of snagging on the cornice, obviously the floor. I mean, don't get me started.
It never ends.
It never ends. And that's before we even do the full renovation. But obviously this is not changing. This room, our sitting room, all the bedrooms aren't changing, just the bathrooms, the carpet, the floor, the kitchen, the extension, the boot room. So enough.
Even the downstairs, Lou?
No, yes, it is actually. We have some from Intel. We have the grey willow wallpaper going in there. Obviously the floor's going to run through from the back entrance hall, and probably a new vanity unit from Parker Howley. Okay, watch out.
Good job.
How nice is this fluted detail? Absolutely love that. To be honest, I'd actually forgotten about that because we designed it so long ago. It's so nice.
Are you going to let the kids eat here?
I was literally just thinking that. It's so nice, I don't want to cover it with a tablecloth, but then, no, this is very practical. So it's got a lacquer over the veneer, so it feels really nice. Obviously it's got this stain with the whitewash, but this will be really practical as well. And obviously we'll just put the placemats, so yeah. You literally read my mind there, Selena. It's like, people can come in and have tours, but they don't need to eat. It feels so much better in the space already. Like, you know how it's got this bowed section on the length? I just feel like it fits the space so much better than that narrow rectangle that we had before. But you've still got loads of circulation space. You need to have ideally 110 centimetres between the edge of the table and the wall, so that when people are sat at the table and they have their chair sort of pulled out, you've still got room to walk around the table. I've got all these tips in our online course. I honestly could talk about it for 6 hours, but there's so many things that you need to bear in mind. Even, I'll give you a little tip for free. You have to think about the distance between the underside of the table and the top of your seat. You want to have about 22 to 25 centimetres there. Obviously it depends on the size of the person that's going to use it. And a common area where people make mistakes is, see how I've gone for this very chunky top? They don't factor in how that impacts on your seat height. I already had the seats, and you want to have these about 45 centimetres. That kind of dictates the table height, but then you also want to feel like it's comfortable. You don't want to feel like you're sitting up and not be able to reach your plates. Everything has to be thought about in relation to one another, otherwise it's not usable. I love this colour wood. It's dulled down a little bit. It's not that really bright oak that you can get, and this will warm up over time, but I love how it brings some warmth. I'm really moving towards slightly warmer woods.
What chairs are going to go here then?
None, because this is part of the kitchen refresh. So these are going to go, well, obviously the whole kitchen's going to change, all the joinery's going to go, but this area here, so the island's going to be much bigger. This sitting area here is going to move and go into the extension, and that will allow us to put joinery and storage all the way along there. The colour, everything's going to change. I actually do have a 3D rendered image, and I'll share it with you. I wasn't quite ready to share it with the public, but I will share it. It's not perfectly how I want it to be yet. Like, the colours are a little bit off. It looks a bit more pink rather than the sort of creamy tones that I want. The floor isn't accurate to how it will be, but you know what? I'm going to commit to sharing it.
This table has completely changed the room.
Completely. It feels bigger to me. Does it feel bigger to you?
Bigger, and it just
works
makes such a
now with like the proportions of the space. I feel like the style of the table, it's this like perfect hybrid of classic and contemporary. It works really well with the chandelier, the antique. The other one was just too modern. I love this. I'm so happy. I think I need to have a dinner party to celebrate.
Dining table dinner party.
Exactly. No food, we just sit here and look at the table. No, I'm so happy. The quality of it's so good. Like the finish, all the finishing. So this is a company that we work with quite a lot. They actually made these chairs as well a few years ago for me. The main company is called Ben Whistler, and this is part of their collection. So I've designed it, but I think they're going to sell it in their main collection called Blue Label. So I'll link it in the description box. It's an amazing supplier. Loads of top designers work with them.
Are you going to have your dinner here tonight? Just you, you.
Yeah, I might. Just sit here. No. Well, Ava's actually away at the moment on her first, I haven't told you this, but she's on her first residential trip with her school. So they've gone for 2 nights and 3 days. So it's going to be really weird being at home without her. I'm going to really miss her. But maybe we'll sit here, the 3 of us, at this massive table. This is my spot. I always sit here.
Where do the others sit?
Well, it depends. If we have my mother-in-law, she's the other queen bee, so she sits at the other head of the table. It depends on the guest. Like if I have someone pregnant, then, or an older lady than me, then I always, of course, give up my chair. But we tend to do, if we're doing like dinner parties with friends, I've kind of accepted that all the girls want to talk to the girls and the boys want to talk to the boys. So I have this end with all the girls, and then Kevin will sit at the other end with all the men. And because we want to talk about different things, and we could just have polite chit chat, but I'm really not interested in football. We're just going to talk about what we're going to talk about. So actually, all our friends have started copying the same way as well, because obviously normally you feel like you've got to do boy, girl, boy, boy, girl. But we have much better nights just talking to all the women. I'm really happy.
I can tell. Do you want to go anywhere else, or should I leave you here for a bit?
Do you know what? I'm really enjoying everything that we set up. Like when we were sat outside with the cushions, I was really happy there. I'm really enjoying my home today. It's a good day to be filming because I'm just loving this. I guess we better crack on. For me, styling the house for spring is almost more exciting than Christmas. I find the winter really hard, like the bad weather, the grey skies. So by the time spring rolls around, I'm so ready to welcome in the warmer weather, the flowers, that I do go a little bit overboard, as you can see here. So I hit up Waitrose and also a garden centre yesterday in preparation. And I just thought I'd show you how I do some of my spring styling with flowers. I have a few little tricks that I use, and I did these ones yesterday because I thought otherwise this is going to be like a 2-hour video. But I will show you how I put one of the moss bowl arrangements together. I did this one yesterday, which I really like. But this is what I wanted to show you first. So when it comes to arranging flowers, what I do, these tulips just from Waitrose, and there's 2 packs of tulips. And I always keep, whenever I get some nice floral arrangements, or if I've bought some twigs myself, or I see a nice twig even on a walk, I keep them. So I've got like a whole collection here. These have all been a bit attacked from yesterday, but they're a really good thing to have. And these ones I love, because when you add these in to some supermarket flowers, or just, you know, if you get some flowers, I feel like everything looks better with a little bit of foliage or twigs. So here I've added the pussy willow and some twigs, and I've just broken them down so they're a little bit taller than the tulips. And what I like about that is it gives it structure. It feels a lot more sort of chic, but also when the tulips start flopping, that will keep them upright. Now the thing I find with tulips is they do get really thirsty. So before I put these around the house, I'm just going to give them an extra bit of water. Yeah, I put these in yesterday and the water's gone down by 1/3. That's about right. These are going to go in our entrance hall. So I'll put them all around the house once I've got everything ready. Now this one, these I love. How pretty are these? Come and have a close look at these. These are called snakehead, and I saw these in Waitrose, but they also had them at the garden centre, and they just look like little lanterns. The reason why I bought these is they go perfectly on our Porto coffee table with the Calicata viola. And then because they're in a terracotta pot, I've just put them on a plate so it doesn't ruin the coffee table book that I'm going to put them on top of. I think they're so delicate. They're not really an indoor plant, and I will let you know how they get on in the comments if anyone asks me, because I can see it's drying out a little bit. But I do use a spray to keep them moist, but it is quite warm in our house, so these won't last as well in the house as they do outside. But I kind of view them as cut flowers, and when they die, I'll just put them in the garden so they'll come back next year. And then tulips, I prefer white tulips. I'm not a massive fan of pink tulips, and when I bought these yesterday, they were completely closed off, so I couldn't see how pink they were. But I didn't have enough white tulips to go around all the rooms, so we've gone pink. In the spirit of spring and embracing colour, that's what we're going to do. So in this arrangement, I've got a mixture of different plants. So I've got some muscari, which smells amazing, some narcissi, which I love. I love this as cut flowers. I always buy that whenever I can see it. Just a combination of 2. And then I also bought some moss. This isn't my favourite kind of moss. I'm not even going to attempt to say that. Is it sphagnum? Sphagnum moss. I prefer Spanish moss, which has a slightly more grey look to it. You can see these ones. There's just a little bit of Spanish moss there. I really like that, but they didn't have it. So I'm going to take all the plants out, and it always surprises me how many plants you need for a container. So I've got 4, I've got 8. So this did add up to quite a lot of money, but if you did it as bulbs, it would be much more cost effective, but I just wasn't organised enough. So I'm going to start by putting the moss around the outside because I prefer to see moss rather than soil. And what I'm trying to do is pack it quite thin, but build up a bit of a wall around the outside. And the moss is really good for holding on to moisture as well, so they don't dry out so quickly.
Where did you learn to do this?
I just think it's common sense, to be honest, but my mum was very green-fingered. She always had me gardening as a little girl, so I think maybe it comes as second nature to me and I take that for granted. Does this seem not obvious to you?
I wouldn't have thought to do this myself, so I just wondered if you got your inspiration somewhere.
Oh, no, I did have intentions of watching some YouTubes to get inspiration, but again, lack of time, children, didn't happen. This is so therapeutic.
What do you think about whilst you're doing this usually?
Nothing, and I think that's what I like about it, is that my brain doesn't really ever switch off. So I like the fact that I'm not thinking about work or my to-do list. I think people would be surprised, and maybe it's not me. I'd love to hear if other people have this as well. But wherever I go, even if I'm in the garden looking like I'm relaxing, I'm not relaxing. I'm just making a mental list of all the things I need to do and noticing everything that's not quite right. But I love doing things with my hands, whether it's painting or gardening or flowers like this, because you just concentrate on the task at hand and you're not thinking about other stuff. Just loosen them a little bit so they kind of blend together. And then I'm going to put some moss on top. Because I don't like looking at the soil, it looks a little bit too outdoorsy, but once you put the moss on top, gently sort of ease the moss in and around all the plants. Now I would buy bagged moss rather than trying to get something from your garden, because I've had it in previous years where we had some moss on some spring arrangements and for some reason it just had so many flies in it and we ended up having to chuck them all out, which was kind of gross. I love moss though. I'd even have a bowl of just like moss or moss balls. I think it looks really chic. We have some amazing black tulips on our terrace that come out in April, and every time I have like a work trip or holiday around then, I kind of resent it because I don't want to miss my tulips. I think that's a sign that I'm getting old, that I'd rather be at home watching my tulips come out the ground than going somewhere else.
I feel the same way about our magnolia.
Yes, magnolia is another one. We've got magnolias at the front and it's so amazing for about 3 days and then they're done. So you don't want to miss that window. So that's looking quite good. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to get these twigs and just randomly poke them in.
Where did you find the twigs with the little balls on?
These were from a flower arrangement. So this is what I'm saying. Like if someone buys you a really nice fancy bouquet of flowers, don't ever chuck these bits out, keep them because you can keep reusing them. I don't even know what they are. I'd love to know. If anyone's a flower expert out there, let me know what this is. I like how it brings some white. It goes really nice with the mascara. And these ones are cute as well, the little buds on. And this, I love twigs with lichen. Even my kids know when we go for a dog walk at the weekend, if they see a twig with loads of lichen, they're like, "Mum, look, I got a lichen twig." They're very well trained. This is coming back together better than I thought actually. When I realised that I'd left the hardest arrangement to do on camera, I thought I've made a mistake. I should have done this off camera and had a chance to rearrange it if it's a disaster. But whenever I do any kind of floral arrangement, whether it's flowers or plant, I always try and look at it from multiple angles because you don't want it just to look good from the front, a bit like a Christmas tree, and then around the back it's all bald or ugly. So that was missing a little bit of moss. Might break that down a bit. You want the twigs a bit higher than the flowers, but not too high. I'm actually very proud of this.
Where's this one going, did you say?
I don't know. I want it somewhere where I can see it a lot. I think we're going to take things around the house and see where they look best. I haven't really got a plan in mind. This kind of arrangement I think looks best when you're looking down on it, so probably a coffee table I would say. Like if you Like the angle that I'm looking at it from is really nice.
Ah, yeah.
Whereas up there, I don't know, does it look as nice?
It looks nicer coming down, like you said.
Yeah. So I think that one's all done. I'm just gonna go and get a spray. I find plants much prefer being sprayed than watered. I'm not a great green-fingered person in terms of keeping plants alive for a long time, but this has helped me. Oh, I've got a few leftovers. We're gonna have to find some little pots for these. But before I do that, I just wanted to show you my cute bunnies. So in our garage, we've got one garage full of Christmas decorations, but I also have a little section of Easter decorations. These are from Mrs. Alice. I absolutely love them. We've got 2 of those. I'll probably put on the dining table. And then 2 slightly smaller ones. Again, these are Mrs. Alice. I bought these a few years ago, so I'm not sure if she still sells these. I don't know where these were from. I think these might have just been from a garden centre. I think these are really cute. My husband thinks they're a little bit tacky, but I think you need a little bit of tackiness in your life. Like, you know, these seasonal things, they can't always be perfectly classy, but I think it's fun and the kids love it. I've just discovered more Easter decorations I didn't even realise I had. But these look like mini eggs, and now I feel like eating mini eggs. But they're quite cute. Again, a little bit tacky, but I don't care. Are they cute? They're kind of cute.
Do the kids get excited when they come home and see some
Yeah,
Easter?
they love it. They just really notice everything going on in the house, actually, and they get, I don't know, maybe because things change a lot, but like I have to really explain to them what's happening, like the fact that they overheard that a new dining table was coming today. They're like, but what's happening with the old one? And so I was like, don't worry, it's not going, it's just going to be in the kitchen. And then we were like, Oscar was like, why does everything keep changing here? I was like, oh, this is just what mummy does.
Get used to it.
You will get used to it. But both of them love interiors and they have a real eye. And I'd say particularly Oscar, surprisingly, actually. He and both of them were asking if they could have some of those new cushions from the garden collection in their room. Ah, perfect. This is what I was looking for. So before you put anything like that glass arrangement on a table, I would definitely recommend that you get some felt pads. We do this at all of our clients' houses as well, so that it doesn't scratch the base of whatever surface you're putting it on. So I'm going to do, you see, you stick that under there, and I'll probably do 3 or 4 of them so it balances. Especially if this ends up going on my new dining table, I do not want it scratching. And then you check, you know that it's working, because then you can hear it slide rather than scrape. Okay, let's find a home for this big one first, then we'll kind of fit everything in around it. This is the other thing I love about this table. So our last table was very narrow because we didn't have much space in the kitchen. But now I've gone wider on the table, so you've got space to fill it with flowers without impeding on the eating area. I quite like that. And then I might do some small vases sort of cascading out and some bunnies. So now we've got all the flowers down the middle, I'm just going to put the placemats to protect the table. These are from our Addison Russ collection. I'll put the link in the description box. And I kind of like having the table bare. And normally I always do a tablecloth, but this wood is just so beautiful, I don't want to cover it. But the placemats are great because it will protect it against the warm plates. Any scratching. And then we've got the green burley plates with the olive wallpaper. I've looked forward to and waited for this moment for so long. We've actually only used the dining room once, and that was over Christmas. Well, we had every meal in here over Christmas. But we haven't had a dinner party since. So I'm looking forward to having a family gathering for Easter. Haven't actually thought about what I'm going to cook because that's secondary. It's all about how the table looks. I'll probably do roast or something. Do you know how good is this? That you've got all these things down the middle and still all this space? That is what I'm loving. Because I had to really be sort of stingy with my flowers before. I could only do really small vases, so we still had enough space. It's a great size. It's something I really appreciate in other people's homes as well. When I go around other people's houses for dinner, if they've made an effort with the table, I love it. Always comment on it as well. So I feel like a lot of people just don't have that eye for detail, or like notice when someone's gone to a lot of effort. So if I see someone else gone to a lot of effort, whether it's their table or their outfit, or like my favourite thing to do, if I see an older woman who looks glamorous, I without fail will always go up to her and tell her how glamorous she looks, because I think women as we get older become a bit more invisible. So I just like to let them know that someone recognises the effort that they put in and how nice they look. And I feel like a compliment from a woman means so much more than a compliment from a man. No offence to any men that are watching. Gay men are probably the exception because, you know, there's no ulterior motive. They just appreciate the fabulosity. I think I need more napkin rings and more napkin options, to be honest. Like now I have this fabulous dining room, I just need more like table dressing stuff because I keep doing the same look every time and I want to mix it up more. So now we've done all the styling in the house, I wanted to come outside and show you some of the little touches that I've done outside. This time of year, I just want to spend as much time in the garden as possible, so I wanted to make it feel like an extension of the house and as beautiful as possible. So come with me and I'll show you some of the details. We just recently launched a new collection of cushions with Andrew Martin, so of course they are a big feature. It's called Capri. But I've gone for the slightly more muted colour tones here. Obviously, I love neutrals, but this is my surprise colour that I absolutely love. So all these cushions are from the same collection. You can see we've got multiple different designs in the same colour. I love this moss green. I always used to be more of a blue and white girl in the garden, and I still do love blue and white. And I think where our garden's quite big, we'll probably do different colours in different zones of the garden. But I love how this green tones so nicely with all the greenery and the yew hedge behind. So obviously we've got the cushions, but then I also like to bring some outdoor plants in little small pots into the garden as well, like this ivy. This we normally have in our kitchen, but as the weather gets warmer, I tend to bring a lot of the stuff out of the house into the garden. And it's funny, even in the summer, I'll put vases of cut flowers on the terrace, and I feel like I appreciate them more outside than I do inside. And then this is one of my favourite arrangements that I've created. I love how the wicker tones really nicely with this Gloucester furniture. And these white hyacinths smell divine. Even Pip's been sniffing them all day. And then over here, I've done, my brain's gone on holiday today. I'll put the name of these on screen, but I love these because sometimes with bulbs I find, especially tulips, they can get a little bit too floppy. These are just that perfect height where they've got a nice bit of structure to them. But I love it with the terracotta again. I think that terracotta goes so nicely with the green, bringing in some warm tones. And then I tend to bring stuff out on trays. So I've used this tray from Addison Ross. And then surprisingly, a candle. This is Dalesford, and this one's called Fig Leaf. And I don't use candles obviously all the time outside, but if I'm having like a little gathering or a lunch, that is such a lovely fresh smell to have outside. And then one little touch that I have to share, how nicely do these burly Regal Peacock cups go with the cushions? Flick that little fly off. That just makes me so happy, little details like that. And I do have the blue and white ones as well that work well with the blue and white cushions. And then over here, I've just brought some throws out as well because we're still in the UK. I don't know why these flies are all coming on my cushions, so annoying. Because we're in the UK, I always put a throw on the chairs as well. If we have friends over, it tends to be the whole day and it sort of goes into the evening. So I like to have a throw on the chair, not just because it looks good, but people often use them. So yeah, I'm really happy with this. It makes me just want to spend the whole day outside and not do any work.
So you said last time that you're planning to do a big house renovation and a garden renovation. Where are you up to with that?
Slightly in denial. We've got so much going on at work that my own home always gets put to the bottom of the pile. We've been designing it for about 2 years now, so we've got planning for an extension off the kitchen. There's going to be a big sort of orangery style room with pitched roof and lovely oak beams, and the whole garden's actually being renovated. But in terms of deadlines, it just keeps sliding. So I'm telling myself I'm going to start it this year. We are designing it obviously in-house. We're doing all the interiors, and I've got some of my team working on it alongside me. So this Wednesday, I'm sitting down with the team and we're looking at all the floor plan layouts, the bathrooms, we're selecting all the hard finishes, designing all the joinery. We're quite far along in the process. So let me know if you guys would like to see some of the progress of that. I don't know why, it makes me nervous sharing it, but I guess I should share it. Let me know. If you're interested, I will share it here on the channel. But deadlines, who knows? I mean, how long's a piece of string? We have to move out the house. I think that's the thing that's really putting me off, is that we'll need to move out, rent somewhere else. And I'm such a home person that the idea of leaving my home and living somewhere else for a year, I think is what's really putting me off, but hopefully it'll all be worth it.
I think the kids would enjoy it.
Do you know what? I think our kids love staying in small places, particularly Ava, and I think we'll probably rent somewhere really, really small and then they won't want to move back. But hopefully once we do, they'll enjoy it.
Sophie, I'm very tempted by these cushions for my own garden now. Talk to me about the colours and how durable they are.
Yeah, I feel like I do this to you every time, Selena. You come here and film and then you end up going away with a shopping list. So apologies to your husband for that. These are very practical. They're actually surprisingly soft. I think you noticed that when we were carrying them out. They're solution dyed acrylics. That means the dye goes all the way through. So they're fade resistant. If you do get any stains on them, you can wash them either with like water or you can use a cleaning product. They're really practical. I wouldn't recommend that you leave them out all year round, especially in the UK. But if it gets like a light shower, that's absolutely fine. I don't bring mine in every single day. And then colour-wise, you know me, I don't embrace bright colour, but you're going to be shocked because this collection is called Capri and it's inspired by the island of Capri. How cool are these? I actually love these. As someone who doesn't often use colour, I feel like the garden is an area where you can go brighter. And I really love this sort of bright, I don't know what to call it, like reddy orange colour. This really reminds me of like the beaches on Capri where you get those red and white striped umbrellas and all the sun loungers. And the yellow as well looks lovely. I had this in my house and my daughter actually wants to have this in her bedroom. She loves colour. And it looks really nice with the daffodils that I've got inside one of the rooms. And then we've got another bright colour. And these all come in all the different designs that you can see on the sofa. Oh, and I forgot to say all the trims are also suitable for outdoor use. So we had all these trims designed specifically to go with the fabric designs we created. And then also that cushion down on that chair, we've got some linking cushions that link the different colours. If you want to mix them together, you can do. But they're quite unexpected. I put these on Instagram the other week and I warned people that they probably wouldn't recognise them as mine. But I think, you know what, colour's fun, and I think we're all getting a little bit braver with our choices, myself included. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. I'd love to hear from you.
Be honest with us, Sophie. Do you actually style like this every day or sometimes, or is this just for us?
Well, I'll be honest, I don't do it every day, obviously. Today's a Monday, I'd normally be in the office. But yeah, I do style like this if I'm at the weekend. Even if we don't have friends coming over, like, it just gives me a lot of pleasure. And my husband, you know, he's very like-minded. He just loves making our home and garden look as nice as possible. So yeah, I would probably maybe not have the candle burning if the kids were running around, but I do genuinely love to dress the garden. For me, it's not about buying new things. If you move stuff around from your home to your garden or room to room, I feel like it just, you appreciate it more and it just gives you fresh energy. And that is a wrap for today's video. I hope you've enjoyed seeing my spring updates in the house and garden. If you haven't hit subscribe, make sure you do, and we've got lots more exciting content coming your way.